Hi, beautiful friends and book lovers. I hope that you're all doing well. I thought it would be super fun to film my top 10 thrillers so far of 2022. I cannot believe we are halfway through the year. Like, is it just me or does it feel like this year is flying? I don't know if it's like a personal thing for me because we have a 1-year-old. He just recently turned 1. I feel maybe like because I'm off of my maternity leave and I'm back to work, like maybe things are like, I don't know. It feels like the year is literally flying by. Does anybody else feel that way? If you're new here, my name is Heather, and here at Heather's Book Review, as you can tell behind me, I like to read and review thrillers primarily, but I will read other books as well. For today's video, I'm just gonna show you guys my top 10 favorite books so far of 2022. I thought that this would be interesting because I always film a top 10 of like my favorite books ever at the end of the year. So I thought it would be fun to like rewatch this video 6 months from now and see like what has changed. A lot of the books I'm going to be talking about today, I did get from Book of the Month. If you're unfamiliar with Book of the Month, it is a book buying subscription for $14.99. You get to choose a hardcover book of the books that they're promoting that month. So they typically have anywhere from 5 to 7 choices. And then they also have like an add-ons category. So just for $10, you can also get up to, you can get up to 2 more books. So you can get 3 hardcover books for a little more than like $30. I don't think you can get more than 3 a month. I know there have been plenty of months where I've chosen 3, but I do think they cap it at 3 because then, I don't know, maybe the box just gets too big. Who knows? But I love it. I think it's like a super reasonably priced book buying subscription. So if you're interested, I will leave my referral link in the description box below. And then if you go through me, I get a free book as well, which is awesome. Okay, so I am going to start with my 2 favorite books so far this year. And I never thought that I would be talking about a sci-fi thriller. Like, that's just typically not like what I read. But this is one of the best books I've ever read in my life, and that is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. You guys, this is amazing. It is so fast paced, and it has that like sci-fi thriller, more of just like a sci-fi element to it, but the book feels like a thriller. Like it's this guy I mean, there's so much that you can spoil so early on, but you're basically following one main character as he goes through these like crazy adventures and these like crazy journeys, and there's like sci-fi elements in there, but also like who's behind all of this kind of thing. And I flew through this book. I mean, and it's a pretty thick book if I remember. Oh no, just kidding. It's like around a little over 340. I don't know why. Doesn't it feel like it's like thicker than that? I don't know. This book is amazing. I flew through it. Maybe like it took me 3 days, which as you guys know is very, very, very fast for me. So, and I know I slept on this. This was the Book of the Month pick for 2016. And I just read it this year. I honestly don't know what took me so long. I feel like when I came back to BookTube, like 3-ish years ago now, almost at this point, I saw this like everywhere and I was like, you know what? Okay, like I finally need to read it. And oh my gosh, I'm so happy that I did. If you didn't read this, you need to read it. Also, I will leave links to all of these books in the description box for you if you guys are interested in any of them. Okay, and now I just want to give a special shout out to the best thriller that I've read this year. And then the remainder of the books that I'm going to be talking about are just like not really in any particular order. I tried to put like the ones that I've like really loved up top. And then there are a couple books that I received audiobook arcs for, or just audiobook versions of, that have made my top 10. So I don't have like physical copies of those. But my favorite book so far this year is What Lies Between Us by John Mars. This book is just absolutely insane. This is another thriller. It's definitely like, I would categorize it as a psychological thriller, which if you don't know, that is my favorite subgenre of thrillers. This one is so good. It's so fast paced. It's like this mom and daughter duo, like dual points of view, and it's so crazy. I think I read this in like a 24-hour span. I'm almost confident. I think I said that in one of my wrap up videos. And it's so good. Like, it is dark, it is super twisted. And yeah, if you don't mind like some really disturbing scenes, like, I don't know. I feel like most of the thrillers I read are like, they have disturbing scenes. So like, I'm used to it. But if you're like newer to the thriller genre, just go like dip a toe, dip a toe in the water with this one. But I promise you, I'm not steering you wrong. Like this, I have never heard one person say a single bad thing about What Lies Between Us. Like, it is so freaking good. And it's definitely my top book so far of 2022. If you're looking for a short and sweet thriller, number 3's The Good Lie by A.R. Torre is friggin' amazing. It is a short, like, what is it, over like not even 250 pages. Again, super dark, super twisted. This one's about like a serial killer, and you're following like a couple different point of views, and you're trying to figure out like who the serial killer is and like what their motive is. And this one is really good. This was my top of 2022 before I read What Lies Between Us. This was something that I just saw all over Bookstagram, and I do have quite a few friends on there who I'm like very confident that we have similar bookish tastes, and they were like highly, highly, highly recommending this one, and I bought it. And I'm not disappointed. They didn't let me down. It is so good. The next book I got from Book of the Month, and I was very hesitant because I have not liked the other 2 books I've read by this thriller author. And that is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I only read The Hunting Party. I don't know why in my head I thought I read The Guest List. No, I never did, because I didn't like The Hunting Party. Like, I really didn't like The Hunting Party. I do have a full review for that one. I will link it up here for you. That was like one of my first reviews when I came back to BookTube. I just thought it was like, Lucy Foley was kind of starting to remind me of Ruth Ware a bit. Sorry for all the Ruth Ware fans out there. I feel like Ruth Ware does a great job at like setting the tone of the story, and literally her settings are always like, they really just immerse the reader in what's going on. And I was kind of feeling that way with Lucy Foley. So I was like, I didn't even bother with The Guest List. I actually I was very surprised that it won Goodreads top thriller of, what was it, 2021 maybe? But then I was like, I gotta get this, because for 2022, I have vowed to read every thriller that Book of the Month is promoting. Like, I get all the books, and then I either do a full review for them here on my channel, or I always mention them in my monthly wrap-ups. But anyways, I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna try it. Like, I vowed to read all the thrillers, and it's so good. It's really good. There's a couple different point of views. The setting is Paris. There's a murder that's happened, and then one of our main characters is like trying to work out what happened with the murder. It's really good. Here I am, 3 hours later. We are taking the binky away from my son now that he's over a year. And he only really had it when he took a nap or slept. He never just like had it during the day. So I didn't feel like it was gonna be a massive transition, but I was a little wrong. He is just kind of struggling to fall asleep with it. And then he usually takes this really like long 2-hour nap in the morning, and he lasted like 40 minutes. So I just got him to sleep now. And here I am about to record the rest of my thoughts on some super great thrillers. Okay. This book threw me for a loop. I've done an entire review and like a full read along with me video dedicated for this book. It is The Last House on Needless Street. I will link up that video for you too. This is a psychological thriller like no other. It is so disturbing. It really makes you think. It like gets those wheels turning, but oh my gosh, it's disturbing. Like, if you watch the read with me, I literally, like, this book literally gave me like a panic attack. I'm not kidding. I'm not being dramatic. Like, I literally had to set the book down and like step away from it for like a day. It was but it's like so good. Like some people might be like, well, does that mean that you didn't like the book? Like, no, I liked it. I just wasn't expecting like how dark it was gonna get. I'm actually currently reading Sundial by Katarina Ward right now. And I'm about like halfway through. And that one also feels like a psychological thriller, but like I'm a little confused as I'm like listening to it. I am listening to it on audio. So we'll see. I've heard good things about it, but I also was on the flip side. Like I feel like I haven't seen it that much in the book community. Whereas like The Last House on Needless Street was freaking everywhere. And that's why like I even picked it up in the first place. But Sundial, I had a couple of friends reach out and be like, hey, are you planning on reading this? And I was like, sorry, that I had something on my chin. And I was like, what is that? Like who wrote it? And anyways, so we'll see. But yeah, I freaking loved The Last House on Needless Street. If you can stomach a dark, like twisted thriller, you will not be disappointed. It is absolutely phenomenal. Okay, the next thriller that I have absolutely loved in 2022 is Hidden Pictures by Jason Rakulak. I actually requested this audio book from the publisher and they granted it to me, and it is so good. It is like it has like ghostly vibes in it, which I typically don't read a whole ton of books with like about ghosts or has ghostly vibes, but it's like a thriller mixed with some ghostly vibes, mixed with some like insane twists. I will say too, it's definitely more of a thriller in my opinion than it is like a ghost story. There are just like ghostly aspects of the book, if that makes sense. This book had some unbelievable twists that I like truly did not see coming. Like nowhere ever did I predict them, and it just like really wrapped up the book so nicely for me. Another audiobook that I requested from a publisher that I absolutely loved, but it's no surprise here because I think they're one of the best thriller authors in the game, is My Wife is Missing by DJ Palmer. I love this thriller author. I'm always kind of like, why aren't more people talking about DJ Palmer? Like, amazing. My favorite book by this author is The Perfect Daughter. My friend is currently borrowing that book, so I can't show you, but I will put a little still of it here. It's absolutely amazing. But this book, I think I gave it like a 4 or 4.5. I think I gave it 4.5. It's really good. And this book, again, it's like a domestic thriller that follows like this husband and wife, like different POVs, and like they're, I don't know, how much do I say? It's a domestic thriller. Basically, his wife like leaves with the kids. That's like literally how the book starts off, and you're trying to figure out like, why did she leave with the kids? Like, is she crazy? Is he crazy? Like, what is going on? And it's really good. And this book also had a twist that I did not see coming, and I was trying to predict like with all of my energy what was going on, and nowhere did I predict it. So I loved the twist at the end of that book. This next book, I will admit, I wasn't about to finish it. It's a book of the month thriller. I wasn't about to finish it, but because of my vow to read all of the thrillers, I ended up just like powering through it, all of the book of the month thrillers. I ended up powering through it, and I'm so glad I did because it's so good. The Golden Couple by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen does start off slow. I will say that. I don't want to like have you guys pick this up and be like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Like right off the bat, you're gonna love it. Chances are you are gonna be a little bit like me, and it is going to start off slow, but it does pick up. Just give it a little bit. Just give it to like page 80 or 100. And I know that's a deal breaker for some. Like I said, I probably like would have put this down had I not been like, no, Heather, like, I think, yeah, this is February. It was like early in the year, and I was like, I'm not breaking my vow. Like, I am powering through all of the thrillers, and it ends up like really picking up and being super good. My only like flaw with this is like they could have made the first like 80 or 100 so pages like more exciting, but then like once the book picks up, it's like I couldn't put it down, and I really did end up enjoying it. This next thriller came as actually a little bit of a surprise to me. I had read two books by this author. One was like a witchy rom-com, and the other was a thriller. And I didn't like love both of them, but I thought that they were both good. So when I picked up Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins, I was, going in a little tentatively, but I actually ended up loving this. It's basically like And Then There Were None from Agatha Christie, but like a bunch of young, stupid, like 20 somethings who like you literally despise the characters as you're reading the book because you're like, how can people be so shallow? How can people literally be so stupid? But I actually thought it was a really, really enticing read. I was like along for the ride. I was here for all the drama. I was here for all the like little thriller aspects. And like, I love, if there's one like type of thriller that I love, like setting wise, it is absolutely something like And Then There Were None, because that is one of my all-time like favorite thrillers ever to ever exist. So if a book like kind of reminds me like that, or of that book, then like I'm typically pretty happy. And the very last book in my top 10 thrillers of 2022 so far is a book that I actually got from Book of the Month in 2021, but then I just put it on my TBR. I don't know why. And it's actually super good. The Collective by Allison Galen. This is a thriller. Like, I'm pretty confident I will never read another thriller like this. And basically, it's like all of these scorned, I don't know if scorned is the right adjective. It's all of these moms who like meet on this blog, but they all want like revenge. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. So you're following only one main character, which is really nice. Sometimes it's refreshing to just have like one point of view. Hold on, actually now I hope I'm not steering you guys wrong. No, it is. But look at also like this font is pretty big too. Like if you want a thriller that's fast paced, just one point of view that's actually really good and definitely like something different in the thriller scene, I would recommend The Collective. I read this very quickly and I remember closing this book and just taking a second and being like, wow, that was actually like really good and really well written. And that wraps up all of the thrillers that I have loved so far in 2022. If I am missing your favorite thriller of this year, please take a second and comment it below because I would love to check it out or add it to my TBR. Please hit that like and subscribe button before you go. And as always, I will see you in my next video. Bye, you guys.